So like last time, where I had GUI front ends, I've got a little bit more special one this time. This is actually the second time I've tried to do this stuff, and I think this time it sounds like it's going to work out a little bit better. But I've got basically 4 options that I kind of like curated through on the Ollama repository. Again, that I've picked from there. And these were ones that they listed on Ollama for like stuff to interface with it. So they're mostly purely terminal interface applications. And there are a few others that I'm looking at, but they require extra setup in NeoVim. Anyway, so the first one we're going to look at is Tenere. And it's one that is written in Rust that requires a little bit more configuration. So you need to set up your .config and all that. You've got the file path right there and the config.toml. So here are the contents of it. You've got the Ollama. It points to Ollama instance locally, which we have to run again because I stopped it in my various other shenanigans. So you have to do this part down here, llama with code, I don't think is valid. So I have to look deeper into the configuration to see how to switch between different models. But you're going to set up, so you have your archive file name, you have it set there, an LLM. The LLM parameter has like a few select options that you can use, and Ollama is one, which is obviously what I'm using. Then you set up your Ollama section here. Your URL is going to go to API chat. So that's going to be slightly different from what we saw last time. And then you've got to designate your model, which you can pick out of the names. Basically, if you typed Ollama poll and then like the model name, it would download that model. That's the name that you would put into here in the model parameter. And then when you run it, which you can see I've got a script here to make ease of the video happen, it will pull up right here. And then I can be like, oh wait, it is modal. So I have to remember that I have to go into insert mode. So that is one nice thing, is it's got a lot of the Vim keybinds. And it does do multi-line. So if I escape, edit, or insert mode, it will escape. I could do it multi-line. So if I go back into insert mode, the navigation, scrolling are your Vim keys. And that's kind of most of it. And then there were some control, there were some control keys otherwise that you could reconfigure. But for the most part, that's what you're dealing with. And you can see it's a pretty simple interface. You've got the user emoji, and then you've got the robot emoji with the response. So you can see it's got a pretty good quick response because we're using Tiny Dolphin. It's going to pull it from there. So yeah, you can see pretty quick, pretty good. That is, believe that one. Yep. Okay, control Q to quit. And then, yeah, so Tenere, our first one, pretty simple. It does take a little configuration up front, but it's not that hard to work around with. So our next one I think we're going to go over is kind of a pretty simple one, is Oatmeal. And Oatmeal has a few options for you to go with. I could implement it into NeoVim, but it's also got a pretty cool interface otherwise right here. So we can start with we can start with that. It'll give us the response that we want. I think you have to do Shift Enter to do multiple, but you can see our default model is going Dolphin Llama 3. You do have the slash commands to switch models as an option in Oatmeal as well. It's going to take a second to load up. Hopefully it doesn't go through and do like this forever thing that it seems to have a habit of doing. Okay, so I can go model list, and it'll give me a list of available models, and then I can go model and 7, and it'll switch to Tiny Dolphin. It's going to be a little bit quicker. Oh my goodness. Thanks for that. So you can just quit Oatmeal, pretty simple. Oatmeal's another one of those really simple ones. And so, yeah, it doesn't take much. Gollama, we're just going to jump right into it, is one that's pretty much an Ollama front end. So you can see it's written in Go. And basically what it does is it lets you select and manage different models. You can see at the bottom here, we've got different options. So let me look at, you could filter it with the /. If we hit help, you can see that we've got our different help stuff. Let's see. How do we close that again? Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Okay. Well, okay. It's loading up the model, but I don't know which one we selected. Okay, so it did go back to it. So you just hit help again and it'll go back to it. So all we do, we hit enter. And then you can see that it comes up here. And now we can interact with Tiny. It's basically runs the default Ollama front end. So you can see it reacts the same way when we say hello. And then we can just go by. If I can spell. And then we can hit Q to quit. So the last one we have is oterm. And oterm is a little bit more elaborate in how it works. It's actually pretty cool the way it works. So we've got a few different chats already. You can see that I've been picking and prodding at it a little bit. So we've got Llama 3.2 pulled up. And yeah, we do have ability to use the mouse in this. So we can, this box over here does multi-line. If I go Control L, it shifts between it. And then I can do that. Control P will bring up the palette. I can go new chat. And here's how I can go through and select my different setting up a new chat for it. So I've got Llama 3.2 selected. I can do Dolphin Llama 3. And then I hit tab and it goes to the next thing. So I can go... Then I can go through this. You can see over here, the tools over here are kind of grayed out. That's because the model apparently doesn't support some of that stuff. But we can designate, hey, I want to have JSON output, keep alive. And then you've also got the other parameters that you can put in here to fine tune some of your settings. So I haven't dug too much into the documentation on how to do this stuff, but you can actually do a lot of fine-tuning and formatting for responses on that. So now I can go save, and you can see it opens up a new tab for me. Okay, so as noted, I've already been in a couple times. Ollama crashed OBS, OBS die, oterm. Basically, oterm is pretty cool for it. A lot of these programs basically recognize that you're probably going to be using Ollama locally on your machine, except for this one. This one requires a little bit of configuration. But oterm is specifically Ollama, an Ollama front end, so it lets you do all the things that the Ollama CLI lets you do, and even the local program. And it's got a really cool interface. Again, these all recognize by default that you're probably running Ollama or some other thing locally on your machine, and it's going to automatically hook into the default port and things like that and do cool things. So if you're one of those people that doesn't like the GUI but likes nice terminal UIs, I would highly recommend Oterm, and Oatmeal's another one that's good. It's got a couple other uses that you can put into it, as I mentioned, but it's a really good one and does a really, really nice job. So if you're looking for something really, really fancy, Oterm does a lot of things that lets you configure things for different chats and what have you. Oatmeal has a little bit more funniness to it, but anyway. Yeah, go check them out. Run AI on your own system, and yeah. If you liked the content, if you enjoyed it, if you think I deserve it, like, comment, subscribe, leave any criticisms you have or what have you. I appreciate it. Feed that algorithm, like I said, and I will see you guys in the next one.